We are going to talk about RDM today. RDM means Remote Device Management. And if you're not familiar with DMX, you can just Google it online, search for it, because we are going to talk a lot about DMX in this video. RDM is a bidirectional system. So instead of just sending information from a controller to a fixture, the RDM system is allowing that, but also sending back information from the fixture to the controller. So when you have a DMX system that you will find as DMX 512A, basically you have a controller in this point and you have a fixture in this point. And you are sending signal, like, for example, change this gobo, move from this position to this position, change this color, whatever you need. In a RDM, Remote Device Management System, you have the controller, you have the fixture, and the communication is both ways. The good thing about RDM, and that's the thing that I like most, is the fact that both use the same cables. So there are no differences in that sense. You are using the same XLR cable with these 3 pins that you are using. Actually, as you know, DMX, when they are using XLR connectors, these connectors are 5-pin, but you are not using 2 of them for several reasons that will need some peers and a different environment. But the fact is that even today, RDM, it's only using these 3 pins, which is something that for some people is confusing. They think that in order to have an RDM system, you need to use the other 2 pins, but that is not correct. So what is more important in here, doesn't matter the connector, doesn't matter the cables, as long as you're using XLR 5-pin connectors with a proper DMX cable. The most important thing here is to make sure that all your devices in your setup are RDM ready or RDM prepared, or how you want to call it. They are prepared to receive RDM. That includes your controller, that includes your fixture, but that also includes anything in between. So if you have a node, for example, or if you have a splitter, all these devices needs to be also prepared for RDM. If you don't have this splitter RDM ready, then what it will happen is that the RDM communication will stop here. Actually, it will never happen because it will not reach the fixture that can react to that. So that is very important. The other concept is that here in RDM, you need certain information from the fixture for the RDM in your controller to make sense. So the fixture from the manufacturer needs to be able to manage RDM. That's the first thing. Some manufacturers, like in the case of AGM, we have been implementing RDM since 2011. Some other manufacturers have RDM in some of the fixtures, but not in others. RDM is becoming very common in stage lighting these days, but not that common in broadcast, and definitely not common at all in architectural environments where normally they use other systems like DALI or simply DMX. And even when the DMX became a very, very accepted standard, the RDM is not that much accepted. And most of the time, it's not because the users don't like the system, it's just because one of these standards in the lighting industry needs a lot of time to become widely accepted or used by everybody. As I said before, if you have a lot of nodes and splitter that were bought long time ago and you want to keep using them and they are not RDM ready, then RDM is going to be a problem for you. And the money that it will cost for you to replace all your splitters, your nodes, might be important, budget-wise. So the first thing is that your fixture is RDM ready. You can check that in the specifications. And if it's RDM ready, then that means that when you connect your fixture to a controller that is RDM ready, then you will be able to search for any fixtures in that setup. And you do that by simply pressing a button that you will have in your controller that it will say discover. So basically by discovering, the system is going to look for all the devices that you have connected and they are RDM ready. And what the devices will have to identify them is what we call a unique ID. This unique ID belongs to each specific product. So you will not find any other ID that is using the same number or the same UID, if you want to call it like that. So when you discover it, you will a list of fixtures, you will see a list of fixtures appearing in your controller, but still, you don't necessarily know. Let's imagine that you have 20 fixtures that are exactly the same. Let's imagine they are P5s. You don't know which P5 is which in your list. And there is not a direct relationship between the RDM protocol and the way you have physically connected your fixtures. So it's not that you will always receive or see first the one that you connected first. The way you have to discover which fixture in your list relates to which fixture in your plot is basically by discovering them. Just select one of them, press the button discover in the unique ID, and the fixture will start flashing or flickering or any kind of system that the manufacturer of the fixture has designed to respond to an RDM discover. When you have it selected and when you know that that fixture has that unique ID, then just put it in your plot, put it in your patch, and from that day you know that that unique ID belongs to that specific product. Okay, that's a bit about setup. But what can the RDM do for you? RDM can do a lot of things. In stage lighting, it's a very, very useful protocol to change, for example, remotely the DMX address of a fixture. So if you have a fixture that by mistake you put in DMX1 and it will react to 20 channels from DMX1 to DMX20, by using RDM, you can always change that DMX and going from 1 to whatever you need, 101 or 200 or 300, without going to the truss, climbing up, go to the display, change the address, going back, etc. If you have 20 fixtures, that's a bit of a problem in your show. So that's why RDM is interesting. But it's not only that. Through RDM, you can do a lot of things as well. And you do it through something that we call PIDs. And these PIDs, which are standardized, let you or let the manufacturer specify a series of features that are public for the user. And the user can change depending on what they need. Most of the selections or setup or settings or features that you have through the menu display, something that you can change like switching the fans off, for example, of a fixture, all these settings, or most of them, can be available through PIDs. That means that you don't need to touch any display to access to this information. That is only allowing get information. So it's telling you something about the fixture, like the serial number, for example, or the firmware version. Or it might be that it's a get set PID, where you can not only get information about the fixture, but you can also set information or set a new setting or a new parameter to modify the behavior of your fixture in terms of control. So that's why it's so interesting. If you are in an architectural or installation environment and you have a lighting installation, RDM is also very relevant. Why? Because RDM allows you to monitor some of the sensors that you have in your fixture. It might be, I'm thinking now about SGM, but you can have a look in many other manufacturers. It can be that that fixture has a humidity sensor. It can have heat sensors, so temperature sensors. So you can see the temperature, the junction temperature, you can see the temperature of different models. It might be that you are using, you have voltage sensors. It might be that you have a lot of different sensors, sometimes 30, 40 per fixture. And to access them might be very interesting for an architectural installation, because then you can know if one of your fixtures is having problems with humidity, or if it's having problems with the temperature, and it's going to have issues in a short period of time. In the old days, you just need to go one by one to all your architectural installations, look at the floodlights, see if everything is okay, if the building is illuminated the right way, and if you see a fixture that is flickering or something like that, then okay, you know that there's something wrong with that fixture. And then you need to ask your task force, your service, after sales people, employees, to go there, or you need to climb yourself and find out what is happening. And if it's a DMX issue, something related to the control, it might be very difficult to find out where is the problem, but sometimes it's just a temperature issue, or sometimes it's a humidity issue, and all this information is not available to you unless you go there, and if the fixture has a display, which is very uncommon on the architectural environment, and you need to go there and navigate to the place where the issue is, that it might be temperature, and find out and make your own plot in your head to find out how's the way to solve it. Some fixtures might even send a warning message in the display, but if you are in an architectural environment, normally you don't use displays. And this is because, of course, a display is a weak part in the assembly of the fixture, so the water can get in a permanent outdoor installation. So RDM is allowing you to monitor all these sensors. So you can see information about them, and if you have the right controller, you can also establish a threshold of what is acceptable for that particular sensor. So you can say, okay, when the humidity is between 20% and 50%, that's okay. Some days will be more humid, and since you probably have in your fixtures a Gore-Tex membrane, humidity will get in to a certain extent, because it will not be completely sealed. And when you have humidity inside of the fixture, you need to evaluate, okay, this level is okay for my fixtures, so it will not fail. Some controllers allow you to not only establish this threshold, but also send you an email through a cloud system to tell you, okay, this fixture has a problem here. So you don't need to go to your installations anymore. You don't need to visually see what your problems are, because you will receive an email every time you have an issue with a fixture because of whatever reason. Yes, you still need to visually inspect some of your installations, because not all the issues can be detected through sensors. And yes, it will be necessary somehow do some kind of maintenance to your fixture, even when you need to clean it just with a vacuum. But it's important to use the RDM in that sense if you want to prevent that bigger issues happen. Another very interesting application of the RDM for installations is that via RDM you can know when your fixtures are on and when your fixtures are off. So if you have a cloud-based system, you can see remotely through internet the amount of hours that that fixture has been on, and make cost calculations for your customer, just to define the return of investment of that particular fixture if they compare with the older fixtures that were there. For example, if the deal is about replacing the old discharge lamps into new modern LED fixtures. So there's a lot of information that you can do with the RDM. But RDM is not new. RDM was released in 2006. So it's a long time since we have the RDM available. It was released by ESTA, which is a committee of standards. But for one reason or the other, there was no agreement on how to implement this RDM. Not all the manufacturers decided to implement it in their fixtures. Not all the controllers and consoles decided to make software for it. And the conclusion was that this system was somewhere in between, where either the people don't know how to use it, or if they know how to use it, they are so used to work in a different manner that they are not interested. The possibilities of RDM are really, really interesting. And these days, I would say the last 4 years, and especially the last year, and we are now in 2020, are becoming the RDM is becoming very popular, especially because some of the most standardized, most well-known consoles are paying a lot of attention to RDM. What do the manufacturer consoles need to know about RDM from the manufacturers? Well, definitely they need to know something. They need to know some of the PIDs. They need to know how these PIDs will interact with the fixture. They need to know each DMX personality. They need to know what's the name of that personality, because it has a specific name. They need to know exactly the code for the manufacturer, because each manufacturer in RDM has a specific code. And all those things are normally handled between manufacturers and console manufacturers. So fixture manufacturers and console manufacturers get together and get all this information. But if you want to know a specific PID or a specific feature that you can access through RDM, normally you will always find this information in the user manual of the fixture manufacturer. And if you don't find it, feel free to contact your salesperson or your support person from your manufacturer, because if the fixture is RDM enabled, they will for sure give you all these values for the public PIDs. Thanks for watching.